Jomi was born in Nigeria, but he left when he was very, very young.
Yeah.
So he is an American black man, but at the same time, what orients his view of the world and his view of himself are the bonds and the cultural roots from his country.
And I've come to consider him an American black man. You hear what he just said?
I know. We gonna get Go ahead. Go. You go.
You, as an American black man, just said, he's an American black man.
Right.
He was born in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We were both born here.
Right.
And sometimes we get toasted in the comments. You guys are tethers. Have you heard that one?
I have.
I don't know what the hell a tether is. I still don't get it.
And we were born here.
Right.
Yeah.
Crenshaw, Chicago. And the fact that you called your man.
So he is.
Okay.
He is not a black American.
Right.
He's an American black man.
Okay.
So
what's the difference?
Yeah.
How are you distinguishing the difference?
So the way I distinguish the difference is this. We're all black.
Yep. Yes.
He is American by nationality, right?
Yes.
So that makes him an American black man. I feel like where we trip each other up a lot of times is that when I say black American, what I mean is that my ancestral home is South Louisiana.
Right on.
Like, that's my ancestral home.
Right on.
My lineage and my origin, as is the rest of the world's, is African. And I think there's a lot of humanity and a lot of understanding that's to be taken from that.
Yeah.
It's very important that black people know that there is a lineage and a history that predates white supremacy, that predates the invention of the word black to describe you as black.
That's right.
You just have to know that, because if you don't know that, then white people invented you. And so that's not the way that it happened. As a matter of fact, it's probably more accurate that you invented them. But the reality of the situation is, as far as my culture, what I am, that was established by old black people from South Louisiana that had to reinvent a culture on the fly in some of the harshest, most dire circumstances. Yep. I honor them by honoring their cultural technology. That's not to be different or to set myself apart from worldwide diasporic blackness. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, right.
But my identity is in them.
Sure.
And their unique sacrifice and struggle and what they had to do.
Yeah, and you know what? I love your take on that. I really do.
Great.
I appreciate it. Because I look at it, if I even centralize it to the United States, you see the cultural difference between the the West Coast, the Midwest, the South, the East Coast. But then there is this identity that links us all. And I think where, Godfrey and I get frustrated because, you asked earlier before we got on 154. 154 means one continent, Africa, 54 countries that make up Africa. But when you go back to the one, there's one diaspora when it comes to the African diaspora. And so the entire premise of this podcast is to be able to unite us. And so when we get the, division in the comments, it's like, it's so irritating. And you go like, how can you elevate the conversation? I think of Michelle Obama. When they go low, you go high. But there's this idea of just trying to separate us rather than going, hey, you just live on this side, you live on that side. But when you go back all the way, and I mean, my man's Godfrey's got the history down, and I've learned so much from him in that when you think about, go back to 1884, the breaking up or the dividing of Africa, right? And you start thinking, you're going, wait, they just went up in this joint and just started pulling cats out and pulling them to America and breaking them and taking them to Brazil and spread us all the way around and go, and we're not family? We're not what? You're not this. I'm like, how can you tell me that? Like, right? And so that's where I get, tripped up myself is going, I was born and raised, everything that's happened to me. I mean, in my lifetime, growing up in South LA, I was like, how am I any different outside of the fact that my family came from Nigeria? So I consider myself bicultural because I am. I grew up in two different cultures. I leave the house and go in one culture. I come home, I'm prostrating, I'm eating fufu, I'm doing so. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know what your take is on that.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think they're doing that? The people that do that.
Hate.
You think it's hate?
I'm gonna tell you why I think it's hate.
Hate in what sense? Like they're hating on you because
No, not hating on me. No, it has nothing to do with me.
I think there's an insecurity in there.
I think,
and I think it's trauma. When we're talking about trauma,
yeah.
There's trauma and they take it out on you.
Yes.
Because of them maybe they're not having cultural resolve.
Yeah.
Or their own identity. I think.
It is the long-lasting impact of colonization, Jim Crow, right? And when you look at that, like I'll never forget, and I tell this story all the time because it was a pivotal moment for me. I'm sitting in LA and I remember the first time I cried going to school and I didn't want to go to school and I get there, teacher says my name, I got a long name, everybody laughs, I go home, and my dad, don't mind them, they're all Africans. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. It made me feel so much better. I can't wait to go back to school, right? I didn't even iron my clothes, right? I can't wait to go back. My dad said, you guys are all African. No, I'm not. I got Indian in my blood. I'm Cree. I like anything to be anything but African. And I didn't know it then, but as I, think about that, I'm going, oh wow, it's just anything to disconnect. Fast forward to now, you're seeing the FBA conversation and the ADOS conversation. It's like, man, it just takes me back to the idea that at the root of it, it is something wrong with being African, right? Like the only
But that's propaganda too. Now, because that made us feel weird.
Yeah.
Because I remember, you'd be like, I'm African, but I'm Black American. Because you were embarrassed.
Right.
It was embarrassing, and I'm like, why am I kind of embarrassed by this? Because of the images they show purposely. They show the Black American in Nigeria as the thug, and that's not the truth.
Right.
When you really look at it, most Black people are educated as hell. Studying a lot of Black history in college, I was super militant.
Right.
I brought Stokely Carmichael to my college. Francis Cress Welsing I hung out with. Eleanor Holmes Norton, who's still in the Senate. We brought these people to our school, Sister Soldier, all of them. And I was educated by some of the coldest. I studied Dr. Henry Clark, what's his name? Ben Yohanan. And I would go to Savior's Day. I'm in Chicago, so I'd go to Southside to go see the minister. You know what I'm saying? So I was really James Baldwin, I read everything. Yeah. And then yet you got people saying you're a terrorist.
Right.
I go, I was Chicago police. I get harassed by cops, called the N-word in school. It
goes back to the book Carter Woodson, like
Carter G. Woodson,
Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the Negro. And I think miseducating us on one end, when I say here here in the States, and then even in Africa, because they're not teaching about, Harriet Tubman, I see you got the piece, and I'm like, that's not a core focal point, right? And so there's two different worlds we're living in, and then when we do call crossover and then we translate, there's a lack of grace that I see on both sides, and we'll get into some of these other topics as well. That but what are your thoughts on that? And how do we bring and bridge and unify the diaspora?
Big questions, but legitimately to me, some of the central questions we should be asking ourselves right now. I'll say a couple of things. Number one is I think there's a reason why you're seeing that happen more now than ever before. First of all, anti-Blackness has become a worldwide tradition.
Yes.
It's not even, it's no longer structural. There's a cultural tradition of anti-Blackness. Most cultures, even like cultures that have themselves been persecuted, have a word.
No doubt.
They have a word to say in their culture.
That's right.
They have a word to say. Now, particularly, it's been my understanding that when they use that word, a lot of times that word is focused at the Black American.
Yep.
A lot of times, not all the time, right? But a lot of times there's a specific burden sometimes, at least that I feel as a Black American, and that's because my culture is to be harvested and not to be invested into. So my culture can be harvested by anyone. It can be harvested as a Black American by other Black people from around the world. But there's not an investment that has to be made into it. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like you can harvest my culture. You can dress or act or behave as I behave, and then go and do something completely else that I can't access. You see what I'm saying? Like I can't do the things that you would do as a Nigerian or as a Jamaican or anything like that. Those are you guys' culture. And in order for...
But why wouldn't you? I push back on that. Absolutely you could.
Well, I'm not saying that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm saying that
I
like,
get where you're coming from. No,
I'm not saying that I'm couldn't. I'm saying that
It's like
Oh, that
free,
is
it's
foreign.
like,
You're saying that it's
but
foreign.
Black American culture is like free domain.
it's free.
Like free domain.
But
There's no
because
protection over it.
Because and so what you see a lot of times is people, in my opinion, in a way that's not always the most nutritious way, try to establish some cultural protection on what it means to be Black American, saying that we have our own culture that we've established, our own thing that we've established, and that is also sacred to us. Now, what I don't think is that there should be anything that happens to where we get out of cultural sharing as Black people. Black was co-opted by Black people. It was invented by somebody else, but co-opted by Black people so that we could be strong. So that Black power, solidarity, Pan-Africanism, all of that stuff, so that we could be stronger and so that we could establish a set of ethics and values that allow us to care about one another. But I think it's also important for us to remember, and I can't get into specifically the feelings and experiences of you guys and some of the things you might have experienced from Black Americans, some of the differences that might go on even on the continent or in the diaspora, right? And I also shouldn't try. What I should try to do is understand that we are facing things in this world that don't know that you're different than me, that don't understand that there's anything different. And those things and the tradition that we establish trying to fight them have to be together. But that doesn't mean, this is the way I look at the diaspora. I think the best way to do it is like the best way to go about this is how do we talk about each other when the other person is not in the room? Like how do I talk about my Nigerian brothers, my Jamaican brothers, my brothers from the islands, my brothers from South America when they're not around? Do I talk about them as if they are me? Or do I seek to set cultural limits and exclusions from them?
New drop. It's in 154 collection, embroidered mass shirt. We got the soccer jerseys in.
Gold.
You can see it. Come on, you know what you gotta do. 154africa.com. Go get it. Stop wasting time.
Look. 154. We all connected, baby. You already know. I'm talking 154. We bringing Africa around the whole globe. Ain't no place like home.